bring all that together. Our next keynote speaker, his name is Ilya, and let's welcome Michal.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad to be here. So, you know the problems in current travel. When you want to fly, actually the flying is the quickest, most pleasant part. But before that and after that, that's where you lose a lot of time. It will easily add up to 2 hours of time wasted for every flight. The ideal solution, in our opinion, must have 3 important points. One is vertical takeoff and landing. This will allow you to bypass all the airports. You can basically take off from skyscraper or from the edge of any city. The second part is it should have wings. So forget like the small quadcopters and similar designs. Those are not effective for the long flights. And the third point is unique to us. We have a hybrid powertrain on board of our aircraft. And this is how it looks like. It's an aircraft with 8 tilt rotors, so you can imagine that all of them can change the position from the horizontal to the vertical. That's how we can take off like a helicopter and then fly with the efficiency and speed of an airplane. It's the tilt rotors. That's a really important point because there are some other competitors which are like lift plus cruise configuration, and that means that they have some propellers just for the vertical mode and then another set of propellers for the horizontal mode. And it's very inefficient configuration because you will carry a lot of dead weight throughout the flight. Basically 4-8 motors which are doing nothing for 95% of the flight. Zuri is very different in one important part, and that's the range. Because you can see a lot of VTOLs in the media. Joby is a very good company from US, which is doing basically the same thing, but it's all electric, so battery powered. And these kind of aircraft have absolute range of 250 kilometers, which sounds okay, but you have to remember that every aircraft today, airplanes, helicopters, whatever, they need a mandatory reserve. And that's either a 30-minute reserve or 45 minutes based on the weather and other conditions. Zuri focuses on the longer ranges, like in the high hundreds of kilometers of range. We are a hybrid, so it's not all battery, all electric. There's also a classical turboshaft engine on board, which is something that is being used in helicopters for the last 20 years, and this system can generate electricity for the whole flight. So this energy density, like the kilowatt hours produced by the system, is 5 times bigger than batteries with the equivalent mass. And this is what allows us to fly these long distances. Like the small circle is all electric battery powered aircraft, the larger one is Zuri or other hybrid VTOL. One very important topic for us and for investors and for other people is the sustainability of this solution. And it might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but Zuri has really low emissions, even lower than the battery-powered VTOLs. And you can ask, how is that even possible? The main reason is sustainable aviation fuel. It can be synthetic fuel, it can be biofuel, it's basically another type of liquid fuel compatible with existing jet fuels. And if you use this kind of fuel in Zuri, our emissions are basically comparable with electric car for the same range and number of passengers. Some people think that, okay, it's like temporary advantage, batteries will get better, and yes, batteries will get better, but it's quite slow. We are based here in Prague, Czech Republic, so everything is quite cheap to develop here compared to US companies or German companies. So this is literally what I took from the IPO documents of one US competitors. They have spent like literally over $250 million money just to be in the phase that we were also. Our demonstrator looks a little bit uglier than theirs, but it's still like 200 times cheaper to get it to the flight phase. We also target a market which is already existing. There's hundreds, thousands of either small airports or helipads in both US and Europe and other parts of the world. So we don't need a specialized infrastructure, or we don't need to grow a new market which they call urban air mobility, which is something that doesn't exist yet. You don't fly throughout Prague, for example. And I think it will exist in like 10 or 20 years, but you have to build it from scratch. Zuri, with its long-range hybrid approach, can benefit from an existing infrastructure everywhere. And we don't even need a recharging station on the ground. Thanks to the hybrid powertrain, we can recharge the batteries in flight. One important differentiator is the noise. These are like both existing airplanes and helicopters. And what you see on the right is actually the Joby, the US competitor that I mentioned, but also us, because our technical solution is really similar to them. It's also tilt rotors, similar disc loadings, sizes of the propellers and so on. And you can see it's like 2 orders of magnitude lower noise than the classical aircraft. Just to summarize, with Zuri you don't need airports, we don't need runways, we can take off and land anywhere. We have 7 times longer usable range than all electric VTOLs and even lower emissions. And what I didn't mention, we are quite cheap to purchase and operate compared to helicopters, because twin engine helicopters of this size costs between $6 to $8 million. With Zuri we can be below $3 million to purchase, and also the direct operating costs are much lower thanks to the wing-borne flight. So thank you, and if you have any questions, I'm here.